Hey everyone, welcome to this deep dive. We're going to be talking about something super relevant for you as part of Gen Z.
Okay.
And that is building a growth mindset.
Right.
With emotional awareness.
Yeah.
Think of this as like your toolkit to help you level up with all of the stuff you're juggling with school, maybe a side hustle, relationships.
Absolutely.
And of course, the never-ending world of social media.
It's like having this extra edge, to not just survive, but really thrive in this crazy, fast-paced world we live in.
Okay, so first things first, what is a growth mindset? Because I feel like I've heard this term thrown around a lot.
Right.
What does it actually mean, like in practice?
Yeah, it's about recognizing that your abilities and intelligence aren't fixed traits that can be developed.
Yeah.
It's kind of like leveling up in a video game.
Yeah.
You're not born at the highest level.
Right.
You gain experience, you learn new skills, you get better over time.
So instead of thinking, I'm just bad at math, I could be like, okay, math is a challenge, but with practice, I can totally crush it.
Exactly. And that shift in thinking can be a game changer for overcoming obstacles and achieving your goals. It's about embracing challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, rather than seeing them as threats or proof that you're not good enough.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this could be super useful. But how does this growth mindset thing help with like the pressures of being Gen Z specifically?
Well, you think about it. You're constantly bombarded with messages about needing to be perfect, successful, and on all the time.
Yeah.
And social media can make it seem like everyone else has their act together, leading to that nasty imposter syndrome.
Oh, imposter syndrome is the worst. Like you see everyone else's highlight reels and you start questioning your own worth, even if you're doing pretty well in your own lane. It's like a constant comparison game.
Exactly. A growth mindset helps you step off that comparison treadmill. It allows you to reframe those feelings of inadequacy and focus on your own unique journey.
So it's like instead of comparing myself to someone who's been coding since they were 5, I can focus on like my own progress and celebrate the fact that I'm learning and growing every day. It's about focusing on my own personal best, not someone else's highlight reel.
You got it. It's about internal validation rather than seeking approval from the outside world, which can be so fleeting and unreliable, especially in the digital age.
This is making so much sense.
Yeah.
So a growth mindset can help us overcome the fear of failure, deal with that imposter syndrome, rise above the toxic trap of social comparison.
Absolutely.
But let's get real. How do we actually develop this magical mindset?
Right.
Where do we even begin?
That's where emotional awareness comes in. Think of it as the secret ingredient, the fuel that powers the growth mindset engine.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this emotional awareness thing.
It's about understanding your emotions, what triggers them, how they manifest in your body, and how they influence your thoughts and behaviors. It's like having this internal radar that helps you navigate the complex world of feelings.
So it's not just about knowing if I'm feeling happy or sad or angry.
Right.
It's about really understanding the nuances of those emotions. Like, why am I feeling this way? What's going on beneath the surface?
Exactly. And that deeper understanding is crucial for building a growth mindset. Because when you're emotionally aware, you can spot those self-sabotaging thought patterns and limiting beliefs that might be holding you back.
You mean like those nasty little voices in our heads?
Yes.
That tell us we're not good enough or smart enough or talented enough to achieve our goals.
Exactly. We all have them.
Oh, I know those voices all too well.
But emotional awareness gives you the power to challenge those voices.
Yeah.
You can start to question those limiting beliefs and replace them with more empowering ones.
It's like instead of letting those negative thoughts run the show, you become the director of your own mind. You get to choose which thoughts to believe and which ones to toss out. That's pretty powerful stuff.
Right. It's about taking ownership of your emotional experience and using it to fuel your growth.
Okay. I'm definitely seeing the connection between emotional awareness and building a growth mindset.
Yeah.
But how can we practically apply this to our lives? Give me some real world examples.
Okay, so let's say you're feeling super stressed about an upcoming exam.
Yeah.
Instead of letting that stress paralyze you, you can use emotional awareness to break it down.
Okay.
What specifically is triggering your stress? Is it the fear of failing, the pressure from your parents, or maybe you haven't been managing your time effectively?
Wow. I never thought about breaking down stress like that. So once I've identified the root cause of like the stress, then what can I do about it?
That's where the growth mindset comes in.
Yeah.
Let's say you realize you're stressed because you're afraid of not getting a perfect score.
Okay.
A growth mindset would encourage you to shift your focus from the outcome, the grade, to the process, your effort, and learning.
So instead of obsessing over getting an A, I could focus on creating a study schedule, breaking down the material into manageable chunks, and celebrating my progress along the way.
Exactly. It's about celebrating the small wins, embracing the learning process, and recognizing that mistakes are part of the journey.
This is starting to sound a lot less intimidating and a lot more doable.
Good.
It's like, instead of trying to be perfect, I can focus on becoming the best version of myself one step at a time.
That's the spirit. And remember, building a growth mindset and developing emotional awareness are ongoing journeys. There will be ups and downs, moments of self-doubt, and times when you feel like you're taking 2 steps back for every step forward.
But the key is to keep practicing, right?
Yes.
The more we work on these skills, the stronger they become.
You got it. It's like working out a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And over time, you'll find that you're better equipped to handle challenges, bounce back from setbacks, and achieve your goals in a way that feels authentic and sustainable.
I love that.
Absolutely. It's not about being perfect. It's about progress. And speaking of progress, let's talk about some things. Gen Z can actually try to build this emotional awareness muscle, you know?
Yeah, let's get tactical.
Yeah.
Because everyone's always saying, like, be more mindful.
Right.
But what does that even look like in real life?
Yeah.
Especially with, like, our phones buzzing 24/7.
You're right. Mindfulness isn't just about sitting on a mountaintop.
Right.
It can be as simple as taking 5 minutes to just, like, focus on your breath.
Okay.
There are tons of apps out there, too, like Headspace or Calm, that have guided meditations specifically for dealing with stress, anxiety, even FOMO.
Okay, so instead of scrolling through TikTok when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I could try like a 5-minute meditation.
Yes.
That feels way more manageable than I thought.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of journaling. It's not just about spilling your guts about your crush anymore.
Right.
It's like having a conversation with yourself on paper. You can track your emotions, figure out what your triggers are, even brainstorm ways to handle those tricky situations that make you feel like you're going to lose it.
Ooh, that's a good point. I actually tried journaling once.
Yeah.
But I just ended up complaining about homework.
Right.
How do I make it like actually useful for this whole emotional awareness thing?
One trick is to ask yourself specific questions. Like, what happened today that made me feel, insert emotion here. What were my physical sensations? What thoughts were running through my head?
Right.
You can even jot down what you did to cope, whether it was healthy or not.
Okay, so it's like being a detective for my own feelings.
Yes.
I can dig into the evidence and figure out what's really going on. I like that.
Exactly. And as you get better at recognizing your emotions, you can start working on managing them in a healthier way.
Yeah.
It's not about suppressing your feelings.
Right.
It's about learning how to express them constructively.
So instead of exploding at my parents when they ask about my grades again, I could try explaining why I'm feeling stressed and what they could do to support me, instead of just slamming my bedroom door.
Exactly. Communication is key, even when it feels hard. And speaking of communication, let's talk about another big challenge for Gen Z navigating the social media jungle.
Oof. Yeah, that's a big one.
Right.
It's like a constant highlight reel of everyone else's supposedly perfect lives.
Yeah.
Which just makes you feel bad about your own.
And that's where emotional awareness can be a total game changer. When you start understanding how social media makes you feel, whether it's envious, inadequate, or just plain anxious, you can start making more conscious choices about how you use it.
So like unfollowing those accounts that make me feel like I'm not good enough?
It's about curating your online experience.
Yeah.
Follow people who inspire you, engage with content that makes you feel good, and remember that what you see online is often a carefully constructed version of reality, not the whole picture.
Okay, that's a good reminder.
Yeah.
I'm totally guilty of comparing myself to those influencers who seem to have it all figured out.
It's a trap we all fall into. But remember, comparison is the thief of joy. And speaking of joy, let's shift gears and talk about how a growth mindset can actually boost your happiness and overall well-being.
Wait, really? I thought it was just about achieving goals and being successful.
It's about that too, but it's also about cultivating a sense of inner peace and fulfillment.
Okay.
When you embrace a growth mindset, you're more likely to see challenges as opportunities, setbacks as learning experiences, and failures as stepping stones to success. It takes a lot of pressure off.
That makes sense. It's like instead of beating myself up for every mistake, I can see it as a chance to learn and grow. That's way less stressful.
Exactly. And when you're less stressed and more resilient, you're naturally going to feel happier and more confident. A growth mindset allows you to focus on what you can control, your effort, your attitude, your approach, rather than getting bogged down by things you can't.
I like that. It's like instead of feeling helpless when things go wrong, I can focus on like finding solutions and learning from my mistakes.
Yeah, you're getting it. And remember, a growth mindset isn't just about individual success. It's about building stronger relationships too.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Well, think about it. When you're open to feedback, willing to admit your mistakes, and focused on growing as a person, you're naturally going to be a better friend, partner, and family member.
So instead of getting defensive when my friend gives me like constructive criticism, I could see it as an opportunity to improve myself and strengthen our relationship.
Exactly. A growth mindset encourages empathy and understanding. It allows you to see things from other people's perspectives and approach conflicts with a willingness to learn and compromise.
This is making so much sense.
A
growth mindset is like this superpower that can help us level up in every area of our lives, from our personal well-being to our relationships with others.
It's not a superpower, it's a skill. And like any skill, it takes practice. But the good news is that there are specific things you can try to develop this growth mindset muscle. And we're about to dive into those.
Okay, I'm ready for those actionable tips. What are some things Gen Z can actually do to cultivate a growth mindset?
One powerful technique is to reframe your self-talk. Pay attention to those negative thoughts that pop up when you face a challenge or make a mistake. Instead of saying, I'm so stupid, I'll never get this try, saying, okay, this is tough, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm capable of learning and growing.
So it's like changing the script in my head. Instead of beating myself up, I can be my own cheerleader.
Exactly. And another tip is to focus on effort over achievement. Instead of fixating on the end result, the grade, the promotion, the number of likes, celebrate the effort you put in, the progress you make, and the lessons you learn along the way.
That's a good one. I'm definitely guilty of getting caught up in the outcome, sometimes forgetting to appreciate the journey.
It's a common trap, especially in today's achievement-oriented culture. But a growth mindset encourages you to find joy in the process, even when things get tough. It's about embracing the challenge and seeing every experience as an opportunity for growth.
This is making me rethink my whole approach to life.
Good.
It's like instead of fearing failure, I can see it as a chance to learn and become a better version of myself.
That's the power of a growth mindset. And remember, it's not just about what you think. It's also about what you do.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
A growth mindset is action-oriented. It's about taking risks, stepping outside your comfort zone, and trying new things. Even if you're not sure you'll succeed.
So instead of avoiding that public speaking class because I'm afraid of looking foolish, I could see it as an opportunity to challenge myself and develop a new skill.
Exactly. And when you approach challenges with that kind of open-minded, growth-oriented attitude, you're much more likely to achieve your goals and live a more fulfilling life.
This is all so inspiring. But let's be real, even with the best intentions, there are going to be times when we fall back into those old patterns of self-doubt and negative thinking. What can we do to stay on track when those moments inevitably arise?
That's a great question. And it leads us to the next part of our deep dive, where we'll explore some practical strategies for navigating those common pitfalls and staying motivated on your journey towards a growth mindset.
Okay, so we've talked about all the amazing benefits of having a growth mindset and how emotional awareness is like the secret sauce for making it all happen. But let's be real, like staying motivated and putting these ideas into practice, that's the tough part.
You're absolutely right. It's like having a gym membership. Just knowing the benefits of exercise doesn't magically make you fit. You got to show up and put in the work, even when you'd rather be like binge watching your favorite show.
So what are some tips for actually like staying on track, especially for us Gen Z folks who are constantly like bombarded with distractions and pressures?
Well, one thing that really helped me was setting realistic goals. You know, don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. Start small. Instead of vowing to meditate for an hour every day, try just 5 minutes. Instead of aiming to become fluent in a new language in a month, focus on learning a few new phrases each week.
Okay, that makes sense. Like break it down into bite-sized chunks that feel less overwhelming. It's like leveling up in a game. You wouldn't expect to go from noob to pro in one go, right?
Exactly. Celebrate those small wins along the way. It's about building momentum and creating a positive feedback loop. Every time you achieve a small goal, no matter how tiny, it reinforces your belief in yourself and your ability to grow.
So instead of beating myself up for not finishing that whole online course,
Right.
I could celebrate the fact that I showed up for 3 sessions this week.
Exactly. It's about shifting your focus from what you haven't accomplished to what you have accomplished. And speaking of focus, let's talk about another big challenge, staying motivated when things get tough.
Oof, yeah, that's a real struggle. It's like you start off all gung-ho with these big goals, but then life happens. You hit a roadblock, and suddenly you're back on the couch scrolling through memes instead of like working on your dream project.
I've totally been there. One thing that helps is to find your why. Why is this goal important to you? What will achieving it bring to your life? Connecting with your deeper motivation can give you that extra push when you're feeling discouraged.
So instead of just saying, I want to learn how to code because it's a good career path,
Right.
I could dig a little deeper and say, I want to learn how to code because I love the idea of creating something new and innovative. I want to use my skills to make a positive impact on the world. It's like finding that spark that lights the fire within.
Exactly. And remember, you're not alone on this journey. Surround yourself with people who support your growth, friends, family, mentors, online communities, people who believe in you and encourage you to keep going.
It's like having a cheer squad for your personal growth.
Oh.
That could be super helpful, especially when those self-doubt gremlins start creeping in.
Absolutely. And don't forget to celebrate each other's successes. A growth mindset isn't about competition, it's about collaboration and lifting each other up.
So instead of feeling envious when my friend gets that internship, I could celebrate her success and see it as inspiration for my own journey.
Exactly. It's about shifting from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. There's enough success to go around, and everyone's journey is unique.
This is such a refreshing perspective.
Yeah.
It's like instead of seeing the world as this zero-sum game, we can all support each other and celebrate each other's wins.
And you know, one of the best ways to cultivate a growth mindset is to embrace feedback. Don't shy away from constructive criticism. See it as a valuable opportunity to learn and grow.
That could be tough, especially online where it feels like everyone's a critic. But you're right. If I can shift my perspective and see feedback as a gift, even when it stings a little, it can help me become a better version of myself.
Exactly. It's about separating the message from the messenger. Even if you don't agree with the delivery or the tone, there might be a kernel of truth in the feedback that can help you improve.
So instead of getting defensive or dismissing feedback outright, I could take a deep breath, ask clarifying questions, and try to see it from the other person's perspective.
You got it. It's a skill that takes practice, but it's so worth it. A growth mindset thrives on feedback. It's the fuel that helps you learn, adapt, and evolve.
Okay, I'm feeling super inspired. We've covered so much ground today. From understanding the power of a growth mindset and the importance of emotional awareness to exploring practical strategies for staying motivated and navigating challenges, it's been an incredible deep dive.
I've loved chatting with you about this. It's clear that you're already on the path to cultivating a growth mindset. Remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
And remember, even small steps can lead to big changes. Choose one thing from today's deep dive that resonated with you and start practicing it today. Whether it's trying a quick meditation, journaling about your emotions, setting a realistic goal, or simply reframing your self-talk, take that first step and watch yourself grow.
And don't forget to share your experiences and connect with others who are on this journey too. We're all in this together.
That's right. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep shining your unique light on the world. Until next time, stay curious and keep those growth mindsets fired up.